Hello? Testing? All right.
Hello.
All right, that never works. Welcome to the Wibbly Wobbly Wallflowers podcast. This is my sister from another Mr. Haley.
Another Morgan.
Awesome. So, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. A little stressful week actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So this week I got in a fight with my neighbor. So that's been stressful and that was fun. You want to hear about that?
What's that crazy? What do you do? What was this crazy neighbor doing?
So she lives next door. We've already gotten in an argument once because she was like, "I'm proud to be white," like something about white power, and I was like, "That's not okay." But
It's a weird thing to say out loud.
Yeah, no, it was. She thought I was someone I was not, and she found out very quickly that day. So we've been on the silent treatment, and I think once she said something nice to me because her dog died, and she was feeling extra like emotionally available to people. Like I think she needed comfort, but either way, I digress on that.
Yeah.
But so this weekend, I hear yelling outside, and she's yelling like, "You effing C word. Like, you effing loser, want me to call the cops? I can call the cops doing drugs, effing loser cunt." And sorry, I was trying really hard to not.
Well, minute 30.
I did really good there.
You were doing good.
So it's been going on forever, and she's done this probably for a few months. And she's been yelling at children mostly. So I'm in the bathroom, my bathroom window's open. Honestly, I'm just taking a poop. We'll just say that.
Sure.
And I'm listening to her say this, and I finally snap, like complete reactionary, and I say, "Shut the fuck up." And she hears me.
Oh no.
And she goes quiet and inside, and it works for a minute.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm actually like, usually I get really shaky after stuff like that. I was like, no, I'm proud of myself. Like, this needed to be done. Yeah. So I go downstairs, I minded my business, everything's fine. My doggo goes outside, and I go grab him because he's being a bad boy. And I see that she's being quieter about it and looking over her fence now, directly at the person who was yelling at. Happens to be a homeless lady. So I was wrong about the children. Nonetheless,
don't yell at another human?
Yeah, well, and there's evictions going on around our place. So, like, she's getting mad at someone who's homeless, and we have a homeless problem here.
Sure.
So I just look straight at her. She doesn't know I'm watching. I go, "Good afternoon." And she turns around, just whips around and starts walking to her door and goes, "What?" And I was like, "It's really loud back here. You want to tone it down?" She's like, and like couldn't say anything. She was trying to. I was like, "It's going to be a real shame when I call the HOA and report this violation." And I walked inside and shut the door and immediately called the HOA because my threats are promises. They're promises. I don't make threats I'm not going to go through with. Oh, so I fucking called the HOA. But then the next morning, I'm up at 6 a.m. to go to school, and my car was egged.
Oh, that's weird.
And I was like, what a coincidence. Yeah. There's only one person that could have done that. I'm smart.
The homeless old lady?
It's next door neighbor.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, wow. So I made sure all my doors were open when she was home later that day. And I called the Aurora police station. It was like, I need to report a vandalism. And they helped me figure out how to do that on the website, reported it, made sure that when I was on the phone with my sister, I was like, "Yeah, I called the HOA, the cops." And her back door was open. I haven't seen her walk out of her house except for work in the past 6 days.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was interesting.
Oh, man.
That was my week. So I've been like checking the security camera I bought that day, like every day. Like, are you gonna touch my car?
Don't do anything crazy.
I dare you do it. Yeah. I'm crazier. That's my neighbor's story. That's how I'm doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like, we're post-pandemic. Well, we're not. I got a thing to tell you here in a minute. But like, you know, can we stop with this? Can we stop being angry with everybody?
Well, we live in a townhome connected to like 6 townhomes, and there are apartment buildings surrounding us, like I think 3 different apartment, I guess, rental companies.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're separate. But like literally, they surround our townhomes, and I've been watching for the past 2 years just eviction after eviction, and it's really sad, honestly. So I don't know what she expects, but maybe she could like vote to help change that rather than like yell at these people
Yeah.
because it's not going to change it. It's just going to hurt everyone's feelings and make us all mad and tense.
She doesn't seem to want to do any of that.
Nah, she'd rather egg the car and stay
Yeah.
inside and not talk about it.
So I just like read this just before you showed up. This is a tweet from a YouTuber that I follow. His name's Eric Voss. He does like a lot of like nerdy videos. But the past
Okay.
week he's been kind of missing.
Okay.
And he says, I tested positive for COVID this week, vaccinated and boosted, living in the city, 89% vaccinated. But a week after business here stopped asking for proof, boom, symptoms are rough, couldn't be worse. Like, I haven't taken off my mask like
Yeah.
this whole time because I kind of figured that was going to happen, and it feels like it's about to happen.
No, you sound like my sister because she's my sister deals with a few underlying conditions that would
Yeah,
make it all worse.
yeah,
She'd be more susceptible. So she's constantly talking to my family about like, please quit going out to
yeah,
eat. Please wear your mask. Please like don't shake
yeah,
people's hands. And I feel bad because I feel like a lot of us who have more of the privilege to go do that have kind of accidentally gotten back to like the shaking
yeah,
hands. Maybe we think every once in a while
yeah,
I'll take the mask off. I'm just as guilty
yeah.
as the next person, and I should be better.
And I've been a little loose on it, but for sure I haven't really. It's been part of my wardrobe now to just wear the mask.
Yeah, and it should be,
Yeah,
honestly. Like you're doing good with that because at the end of the day, like people that have a handicap or these underlying conditions shouldn't have to suffer or die just so we
yeah,
all can enjoy entertainment and go
yeah.
out.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but like I don't know, we have to be a safety net with each other. This isn't even like a governmental thing because they clearly can just like, all right, whatever, do whatever you guys want. It's done.
Yeah.
We're done.
As soon as every business needed a bailout, they were like, "Oh, CDC, why don't you lift half those weeks that you should
Yeah.
stay home?"
Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, I'll wait to see what happens. And he lives in LA.
Yeah.
I mean that's a very heavy trafficked place. So like,
You can only imagine the homeless population out there
oh
and how
yeah,
they're
it's bad.
suffering from it.
Yeah, that's bad. It's bad.
Oh, bless their hearts. All
Yeah.
their hearts.
Anyways, I'm glad we had this fun conversation. Let's end the podcast now.
Woo, politics and social issues. What's fun?
Let me think. I have a few topics. You have topics? Do you have anything?
I got some various things I could talk about. Nothing too strict today. Looking through it, honestly, I would need to do some research on most of my things.
Same over here.
Sometimes a week's just hard and we just want to talk.
It's a really hard week.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Like I keep teasing that I'm gonna do this like superhero like research thing, and this is all written down here. Just this little piece of paper. That's all.
Hey, you start somewhere.
Yeah,
It's a beginning.
Because it's been a week, but like I do plan to. I've been thinking about doing some vigilanteism.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I could see you thinking about that.
I think I could do it, but then I'm doing this research and I'm realizing I can't do it.
Okay, so there's, I'm assuming, is it you can't do it because of legal bounds?
Legal bounds. You have to be super fit. You have to buy.
You're like, I'm not working out. I was just gonna cut that out right there.
I barely want to work out.
I gotta be super fit. Fuck no.
I go to the gym every other week. So I care enough, but I don't think I want to commit. One.
Okay, so legal stuff, being fit, and I cut you off.
Like the ones that kind of have been more successful in doing anything have like Kevlar armor or like Taekwondo training or like, and like it
Yeah.
makes sense. But then also there's another part of it where it's like, look, really think about it. There's probably not a crime happening right now. There's probably a crime happening, but it's probably not like a robber in a bank or like,
It's not going to be as glamorous,
no.
or if it is as exciting as you think, the glamour is going to be gone, and you're going to be just scarred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the closest thing that seems relatively like manageable is like nightclub duty.
Yeah.
Like, helping drunks out, like getting men away like from pestering women, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that seems exhausting, doesn't it?
That is exhausting.
Also,
but those are unsung heroes.
Also, like,
those are unsung heroes.
Does that count?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're keeping men and women drunk, though they may be, and dumb, safe. Because just because you're intoxicated doesn't mean you deserve to be treated like shit or used.
I haven't gone out to like a bar in ages, but I was basically the friend that would put my arm around you whenever there's clearly a guy that isn't leaving.
Yeah.
So I would just come up to you and be like, "Hey, what's up, babe?" And immediately the guy would be like, anyways, you're welcome for the drink. Have a good one.
Welcome for the drink.
Yeah. It's like, all right, good. And then just there, done.
That's all you got to do, honestly. I mean, sometimes it can go the other way. But that's for another day, I guess.
What, like, where the guy's like, "Hey, guy, get off this girl. I'm gonna do stuff to her."
Actually, maybe it would be kind of fun, but it did happen to me and my mom together.
Where a guy
was hitting on me, and it was uncomfortable, and my mom was like, "You need to leave my daughter alone," and came up, and he was like, "She ain't fucking going home with you," and I wasn't going home with anyone. I was engaged and like trying to get away from him, and he's like, "I could talk to who I want." I was like, "I don't want to be talked to." He's just like, "Well, your mom," and I was like, "I didn't want to be talked to."
My mom is telling you to stop talking to me.
Yeah. This was right after my mom got divorced, though, and she's like, "Go to the club with me." I'm like, "Okay." But that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird though.
I don't know.
Definitely backfired.
Would you appreciate a guy in a costume coming in and be like, "Hey, stop it"?
Oh yeah. It doesn't matter if you're in a costume. You could be naked for all I care, and if you're stopping the crime from happening, then no crime is committed to me. Like, what crime?
Marvel's The Naked Man.
This got to be in your book.
It has to be. Yeah.
Although we can't talk about your book ideas on here.
No. We don't talk about.
You don't know what we're talking about.
But look, how about? Is there? Because then the other thing is also Soup Kitchen.
I remember you telling me that some of those vigilantes did that.
Yeah. Like, I know these are all good suggestions, but is there a point to the costume and the whole superhero thing of it?
I tend to be more successful with everyday endeavors, especially ones that are going to make me nervous, when I dress nice, when I dress for the part. So like for an interview, I got like specific heels for that. You put on a dress, you get ready, like make it match your job, and man, I feel good about it. So maybe like that gets people in the mood.
Okay.
You know what, like the sloth dress you're wearing right now. The real sloth dress.
The real sloth with kimono combo that I'm currently actually wearing.
I'm not even kidding. This is real.
This is not a joke.
This is not a joke. But see, you're feeling really good today. You're talking. Yeah. We're having a nice podcast. Yeah. You're in the mood.
But this gets me more in the mood to like do drugs. Like, There
you go. You're in the mood.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's why they want to dress up. Albeit a bit narcissist.
It is. That's the other thing that kind of like really pulls it all back for me, because of the big guy that everyone knows, Phoenix Jones. clearly an ego trip. And that's kind of what I don't want to do either. So is it, am I only doing it because of the ego trip, or do I just want to do it because it's different? And can I profit off of it?
Well, I'd imagine there's no way that like the fake heroes weren't profiting off of it because they gotta eat. So they definitely like while it's out of the kindness of their hearts-ish.
The research I've done so far seems like everybody had a day job.
I guess Tony did, and I'm thinking of just Marvel people, honestly. But yeah.
So the real world superheroes all have real just daytime jobs. So like
probably make money via like streaming more than anything.
So then you would have to lean into it, wouldn't you? You would just have to be like, all right, like this is a gimmick, but like something has to come out of it.
And that just gets more narcissistic.
That's the thing.
It sounds worse and worse as I like try and think of a way to make it better. Because I couldn't do it. Because
it makes sense like in a Spider-Man, because okay, the kid wants to, avenge his uncle. Cool. Yeah. Makes sense if it's Batman, yeah, because it's a billionaire who has the option to do it. Got it. Real world, none of us really have like a real like I watched videos of like different real life superheroes giving their reasons why they do it.
Yeah.
And none of it is a good answer.
Tell me some of the reasons.
What are they want to help their community, but it's like, okay, sure, but why not just help your community?
Community garden.
Yeah.
Go feed the homeless.
They want to be a symbol for hope.
Go patch a road with your own money.
Yeah. What else was there? It's like very benign reasons. Like, okay, I see why, but also this is all like, give me attention.
Yeah.
And that's also what I don't want. That's why I'm speaking so freely about this, because like it's also kind of just a lark. Yeah. Like I'm not really serious about it, but also if I were to be serious, it's like, would I really though?
There is something to say that like people, when you're doing something nice, it doesn't mean you can't tell others about the nice thing you did, or even like tell a few people, but you can't can't be posting about it. Like I hate when people do the thing where they post the tip they gave a server or
I hate that.
Food they gave a homeless person. Like, good for fucking you.
Yeah.
Like we've all done that somehow at some point, indirectly or directly. So like, yeah. But at the end of the day, it means so much more when the person doesn't say anything and just goes through with it, because then it really is not about them.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's really strange because only one person knows.
You'd almost have to do it as word of mouth.
Yeah.
Which that would be weird.
I think that's why, like, when there's those really good people you meet in your life that everyone loves, it's usually because they're not like going around talking about how great they are.
Yeah.
They're just doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where the superhero can't stop. Not like even the Marvel ones, like if they were real life, we would hate them.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the way they talk about themselves, and yet like we love it on screen. It's just,
of course.
In real life, don't want to deal with that.
Like honestly, no one's ever going to admit it, but honestly, all the Marvel stuff, what we're really in love, besides the visual effects, is the melodrama.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love drama.
These are soap operas.
Juicy drama. Wow.
Josie drama. I love Josie drama. She's the best superhero.
Shut up. I also said
Josie drama on Disney Plus.
Today I was trying to say, I have to say it really slow because I'll do it again. I'm trying to say fine tooth comb, and I said fine tooth tome, and it threw all my coworkers off. They're like, "What the fuck did you say?" I'm like, fine.
Broke their brain.
Yeah, I can't.
You can't even do it now.
No, now I'm saying it right.
Fine
that's fucking
tooth
it up.
comb.
Now that I'm trying to say it wrong, I'm saying it right.
Fine tooth.
Fine tooth tome.
Fine tooth
tome.
Fine tooth comb.
Fine tooth.
Couth.
Tome.
Tome.
Yeah, fine tooth tome. That's how you'd say it if you're dyslexic.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the. I'm trying to, as we're talking, look up if anyone's done some kind of like study on those that tried to do this. But no,
No,
but I would love to know.
there,
Someone should.
there's a lot of videos, a lot of video essays, and here's the other weird thing. Um, Either it died down or something, because anything I've come across has been no older than like 3 years ago.
I noticed that 2019 is about the last where I
Yeah,
am seeing
the
news.
there's this really good video on YouTube. I'll send you the link, but that seems to be the last, because it touches 2020 at the right end of it. So like,
Okay.
it leads me to believe that's probably the last that we heard of him. But like ever since then, there hasn't been anything.
Wasn't it early 2020 that Phoenix Jones got arrested?
Yeah,
that's why.
That's the last bit of information that ever came out.
That's probably why, because no one's telling us that. But,
Yeah,
I mean, if I were some of the other people, I'd be like, okay, that I don't want to end up like that.
I would. Well, I don't know. There are some that are still, from what I understand, are still active, but they're doing the more charity work and like walking grandma across the street kind of thing. And they're also big in or were big in London. There's a whole just a league of extraordinary superheroes in London, and they're all clearly a child that lives in his mom's house. Yeah, and is there a picture? Can I find a picture? What was his name? Blue something. And like, just as he has spandex all over his body. It's blue. He has a little star as a symbol.
Yeah.
And he just has his little British voice, and he's kind soul. He just wants to help, and he wants to create hope in the world. And it's like, bless you.
Oh. Okay, maybe some of these people
You wouldn't survive
like pure as fuck.
You wouldn't survive a Thanos snap, but bless you.
But you'd look him in the eye.
You would give him a hug.
Don't do that while hugging him.
You don't want to hurt him.
Okay, so I actually did find a sort of narcissist psychology study that could pertain to this.
Okay.
The title is Narcissism and the Hero and Victim Complex. So from reading a few paragraphs as we're talking, there's this idea that the good guy, so narcissists tend to project. They see what you do and then they're going to project it back, but they don't really have a moral compass per se. They kind of have to learn it and observe it.
Yeah.
So in this case, they punish the villain because they're looking for the clout of being the good guy and they want that praise. And so here, where is it? Unfortunately, narcissists often lack empathy. So, and from like a lot of the people that we've talked about in reading, they are kind of getting clout because they're just I mean, when you ask for
even the sweet little blue lightning or whatever the fuck, he is kind of doing it for clout as well. Like it's impossible really to do any real world stuff. What?
This really pertains to Phoenix Jones.
What does it say?
Equally destructive is a narcissist need to play the victim. This typically occurs when the narcissist is confronted with a mistake or is attempting to escape responsibility. Conveniently, the narcissist uses a past hardship to excuse present wrongdoing.
Yep.
Yeah. This was by Aaron Leonard, Dr. Aaron Leonard. 2021.
In Phoenix Jones, you said what was the last podcast that he has a real bad tragic story, his dad dying and all that.
I think you and I were talking about it last time a bit.
I was watching stuff about him. It's not even anywhere near his origin story. Like
oh no, I was reading an article about it.
Yeah.
And his origin story was about the lady that he murdered. I was saying his actual childhood would make a great origin story.
No, yeah. like he does not. It's not acknowledged for in what in his like legacy of whatever. He does not acknowledge that.
I think we read that he was like one of 5 kids, and
Yeah.
his dad got murdered for like robbing a convenience store. Like, man, I'm being one of 10 kids. That would be like my first thing. I'm like, hi, I'm superhero Haley, and I'm the oldest of 10 kids. I can take care of your children.
Is that
It was a hard life. I think babysitting is a superhero move.
Ooh, okay. What if we started doing like how the big issue right now is like how do we sanction off like responsibilities so cops don't have to like get involved.
Yes.
Like it's a mental case. Like it shouldn't have to be the cops that go in there. It should be like a doctor or someone that can help.
Yes.
What if that's how you start, enlisting superheroes or heroes? Like they're professionals that do professional things.
There are already some cities that are testing out sending specifically for mental health issues. That's
Well, of
where
course.
things tend to go wrong.
Yeah, because that's the big conversation.
Yeah. So in this case, there are some cities I've heard that are sending out licensed therapists, licensed psychologists, counselors, basically in that realm of mental health or just health in general, so that they can save the police time and police can do things like, stop someone who's running around with a gun, and then
pay attention to where you're aiming, maybe.
The psychologist can go and take care of the person who's just arguing with their husband and can't seem to shut up. Like,
take a colorblind contest.
But yeah, so I know that it's happening, but it's definitely not as prominent at the moment.
Okay, is it here? It's not here, right? I know it's.
I do know a
some
paramedic
states
here who 3 years ago was telling me that he was trying to start that. So it was even before a lot of people were suggesting this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure actually people have been suggesting this for
of
a long
course,
time.
always.
But to my knowledge and how I've grown up, that's unfortunately how I've perceived it. So he's been trying to figure out a way to dispatch basically like child care health professionals, psychologists, find a way to tell people how to get somewhere rather than send someone out so they can save money if it's like not too bad of an emergency. You know what I mean? So people are trying. People are really trying.
All right. What if it's like almost like a neighborhood watch? Because essentially the superhero act boils down to a neighborhood watch. Because they can't do too much and they have to stay within the laws without getting in trouble themselves. They could only report a crime, not actually stop it or do a citizen's arrest. They could do a citizen's arrest, but if you abuse that too much, then you will get in trouble.
That's what we're dealing with on Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
I am. Oh, you asked if Denver did. This is a USA Today article. Denver sent mental health help, not police, to hundreds of calls. This is February 6th, 2021. So basically, a little over a year ago, Denver had already started that. So it's starting, actually.
Okay, so we're getting there now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. The STAR program. I think that's part of what the guy was talking about before. Support Team Assistance Response. I appreciate that. I was a little blinded, but I was like doing pretty well and suffering through it for no reason.
There we go.
I could not.
Everything.
Saying anything.
The sun was going down.
But yeah, that's awesome. So it is starting.
Okay.
I think you're right though on the neighborhood watch.
Yeah, like
that's probably what that really is.
Let's say it's a neighborhood watch where maybe there's a psychologist, a babysitter, and what's another good like a muscle, and like whenever something in the neighborhood happens, like maybe a drunken boyfriend won't leave the house.
Yeah.
They can call upon the muscle. And he comes in and like takes care of them. Someone's having a hard day and they're thinking about jumping. The psychologist comes in and he like takes care of it. Mom desperately needs time off or like needs to go and do something, calls in on the babysitter.
Gotcha.
And you do that kind of that situation. Would that work?
I'm gonna be honest, because it sounds great, but it almost starts sounding a little commune like.
Commune like. All right.
But I still like it. Or that's how you start neighborhood gangs.
Oh, of course.
No, that is actually a really good idea because then you can have like a neighborhood community, just like your normal like everyday suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you know the few neighbors that like are willing to be helpful, and there's always that person that just loves volunteering, and just wants to help.
Yeah.
Always that person. So you'll get those people to like actually show up and help. They would need help though. You don't want them to get overwhelmed.
Of course, no. Like again, it'd be within limits of the law and like whatever the community can provide without having to like bring anyone else in. Because also there's that legal like paperwork and like does anyone have insurance or like money will get in the way, and this is more of a communal like no, like if you need help, I have you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then if it needs to get to the higher situations, then you get there.
Okay.
Would be interesting. That's not a bad idea. Let me write that down and then we'll make that happen.
Yes. Your complex, you'll be the babysitter, muscle, and what was the other one?
Psychologist?
And the psychologist.
Yeah. Or like a helpline.
Yeah, like the hotlines.
Yeah.
Just a neighborhood hotline.
Yeah.
So you can just call that.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So you have your own neighborhood dispatch.
Okay.
And
there we go.
And all you gotta do is have the HOA actually do work. Bam! I hate you, HOAs.
Yeah.
You actually fucking work.
You have to get up your ass and do something because there's a whole community behind this telling you, hey, are you going to deal with this fucking drunk who won't remove his flowers off of my begonias?
Yeah. Like, dang.
I think we got something here. Like
I do too.
Well, let's workshop this off the podcast because I think we can do something with this. There has to be a real world sufficient way to do this because from like 2011 onward, none of it's working. None of it has been working.
That's why when my neighbor was fucking fighting with me over the weekend, I didn't want to call the cops because I didn't want them to treat the homeless girl like shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's exactly how that's going to go. Or the kids that are out there.
And like for my thing, I hate calling anybody like if there's like loud neighbors or like something like that because I don't know what their situation is. They could be illegal. I don't want to disturb them if they're not disturbing me. They're just being a little loud and I want them to be quiet. Don't take them back to their country just because they were a little loud for one night and I got a little irritated.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're like, absolutely right.
That could being Mexican and hearing horror stories like that. I don't want that to ever happen to anyone. I just need peace.
Yep.
Like stuff like that, little situations like that. I think we like the superhero can live in.
Okay. Would the superhero still be dressed up for this?
That's where I would say yes, because otherwise, like, what's the point?
Could have like, so make it less narcissist. Hold on, we got this. We're workshopping this shit. The HOA makes a uniform costume. So like whoever's helping, you have your neighborhood costume. It's still a costume. It's not a polo. You aren't Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, but then wouldn't they be more entitled to feel control over that and be like, well, we'll dispatch you when we feel like it, and then they just control that. Like the idea of the superhero costume would be like, no, this is an individual person taking time out of their busy schedule to help you out.
Gotcha.
And if they want to wear like, it doesn't have to be like a outlandish like this type of like outfit.
Comes to babysitting Kevlar.
Yeah, like the babysitter can just be a girl. She does like maybe we all wear little patches, little buttons that say something, but like you don't have to wear a costume. But if the situation arises where you're like, you know what, do we all want to wear costumes for this like gathering barbecue that we're all gonna have? Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
Still makes it less narcissist.
A little bit, yeah.
Because then you're just staying in your community, you're just having fun. People are going to find it charming.
Yeah.
You start going outside of the community, people are going to be like, okay.
Imagine you get a bunch of cosplayers who are down to do like civil work like that. Just free time. I mean, that's what you do. You get cosplayers.
Okay, no, I'm totally down for that. Yeah.
There's the element as to why costumes, because it's the cosplay community.
keeping you safe.
Yeah.
Since 2022. Okay, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So less control for the HOA. That's going to be the dispatch center.
You only like they're also the bad guys, so we're also fighting them.
I'm just trying to get them to work.
You just make them work. Like you can be like this can be a communal thing where like maybe there's signatures where it's like no, like this whole group says that you need to like do something about the bushes, or like they want you to stay out of this business. Like there's a person that is the head of the community but isn't gonna get hit with anything because they're not really like anything. They're just helping the community.
Yeah.
And it's somebody that will go up to them and talk to them and be like, hey, let's have a chat. Let's talk about this. Yes, I look ridiculous right now.
But it'll keep you quiet.
But it'll keep you quiet and you'll listen to me. Yeah. And you know what? You call that guy the negotiator. Boom.
Bam.
Boom.
Everyone gets a neighborhood negotiator.
Everybody gets like a weird like a name like that.
The Arbiter. The Arbiter. So that's what I call the Arbiter in Halo. It's the Arbiter, and I just was like automatically the Arbiter.
The Arbiter.
No, the Arbiter. It sounds much more cooler when you say it that way.
Who's that? What's he?
An Arbiter. That's what it's someone who like basically like regulates truth and power. And,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be like that's all. I don't want it to be like there should be a head, but that would be like the head leader kind of guy.
Now I have to look up the word, but yes, because I'm like maybe I said it wrong.
No, I'm stoned, so it took me a minute.
Arbiter. That's why I've been saying it wrong. It doesn't have a D.
Arbiter.
Okay, I don't care. A person who settles blah, blah, blah. A person who settles a dispute or has ultimate authority in a matter. Okay. Yeah, so that would be the ultimate authority.
Yeah.
The arbiter.
And it doesn't fall upon the illegal family that lives in the house that's being too loud, and it doesn't, hit anybody else. It's like, no, I'm just a person trying to help. And I'm wearing this mask to keep my identity, sure, but like my identity has nothing to do with your bullshittery right now. Or show your face, whatever.
Intrusive thoughts. I've been listening to so many stories about serial killers lately, and this could be rife for someone just being taken down to the basement.
For sure.
Like I just know someone's like, yes, I've been waiting for this neighborhood watch. Victims.
There was a momentary point in time where villains showed up during this whole real world superhero thing. Not as fun as you think. Literally, the villains were the clout chasers, were the absolute clout chasers, because they would do YouTube like, hoo-hoo, Phoenix Jones, I'm going to get you if you don't watch out.
I hate it. I hate it.
What's his name? Rex. What's his name? Rex. God, I forgot his name. Rex Jones. Rex something. He was the villain of Phoenix Jones, but not really. Phoenix never acknowledged him. He's like, look, I'm trying to do, I kind of respect what he said, but he's also very ridiculous about it. He's like, look, I'm trying to actually do something here. And I'm not trying to like entice anyone who's even pretending to be a bad guy to like even like play around with that idea, because I'm trying to focus and do something real. Sure. Besides the drug selling and the egotistic
your
thing.
Own cosplay. Okay.
Yeah. And your own cosplay. Sure. But like all the villains in this era were very much just YouTubers who wanted like clout. Which all right, whatever. So if anything, we would get that.
Okay.
Which I would say that wouldn't be a bad thing if like those villains would be willing to play and be like, all right, yeah, I'll be the clogger and I clogged your toilet. And we do
took a massive dump.
Yeah.
Good luck calling the plumber.
And they do little YouTube ads like, I'm the clogger, I clogged your drain. Stop, it's me, the plumber.
I threw away your leftover Chinese food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Poop.
Anyways, I meant to show you this at the top of the podcast, but again, I was stoned. One of our friends brought in a whole bunch of uh, stuff that her mom bought and just didn't need, so she just let us have it.
Okay.
So one, here's this gift that I meant to give you the other day.
A gift you meant to give me the other day.
Yeah.
Capital Vice's skull lip balm. Oh, my cute.
It's a skull lip balm.
Rebels Refinery.
You were there, but like this was already in the car and I didn't want to go out and get it.
It's okay. You're just like, nah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. Little skull. And then this is for the pod. I think it's going to help us out very much.
What is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the soundboard.
Oh my god. We have an audience here.
We have an audience.
Can you...
And a cowboy.
Cowboy in the city.
Yep, this added a new level. Pardon me.
Wow, that car... Oh, never mind. I was like, that car we're near, but you're...
Excuse me.
Wow.
Right?
Ooh, this skull lip balm is 3D printed. You can tell it by the striations.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the whole thing? No.
I don't think the outside is.
I think just the inside.
But just that inside, which means they were trying to save on plastic.
Sure.
That's awesome.
No, I love when things are made out of 3D printer. Look at that. It's my watch.
Oh, yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see the...
Yep. Like, I hate it, and then I don't hate it. Does that make sense? Because, like, it's too much lines.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I want a thing to look a certain way, I don't want the lines.
I think if you get limonene, it's like a really strong acid.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dangerous, but gloves, you get limonene, kind of dab it onto a paper towel, you can smooth out those lines because it'll just kind of like slowly, like the very top layer will just keep smoothing out and sloughing off. But yeah, I had a 3D printer like 6 years ago when I lost it, when it wasn't mine anymore. But yeah, that's how I learned to fix those. It's just inexpensive and very dangerous chemical to keep around.
Yeah, like, is it worth keeping around a 3D printer right now?
I mean, if you had a 3D printer, yes, you would want it because then you're gonna make a ton of stuff. Yeah. But if you're not doing that all the time, probably not.
Yeah.
But it's out there. It is a thing.
What's that run for like an average person? Can you get it off Amazon?
Here, let me see.
I don't think you can get it off Amazon because that seems like a very expensive tool. But I was thinking about it. Have you seen at Comic-Con they have like a large 3D printer thing where they scan your whole body and make a little action figure of you?
No.
It's like every year at Denver Comic-Con they have it. You just step in there, and if you're wearing cosplay, whatever you're wearing, they just and make a little action figure.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I did find it. Limonene. Okay, so yeah, it's a chemical basically really concentrated from the peels of citrus fruits. But I'm trying to see if you can buy it. Limonene.
Like the printer itself is at highest like $300.
Oh heck.
That's not terrible.
No, it's not.
And then there's one in Best Buy for like $1,000. So there's that guy.
Yeah, it's like super expensive to get the real stuff. Like, if you want a 55-gallon drum for $1,964.
We're so close to the Jetsons like future that we were promised. We're so close. Like I know there's food versions, but like it's still in hypothetical mode. But imagine just making 3D food. Most people are like, no, that sounds very dystopian. Sure, but I mean, if it's edible,
it's already happened.
Yeah. Is it now 100% complete, or is it still like in like a?
It's been edible years ago.
Has it?
Mm-hmm.
Could I make like a burger?
You can make a burger. You can make a burger. Well, it doesn't mean you can like make a whole burger there.
Sure.
Because you need like different materials, but yeah, you could synthesize a patty from that. I know chocolate is commonly
Chocolate, I see here. Chocolate seems easy.
Yeah.
Like, is it
Basically candy stuff.
okay? So but like, is there like a meat? Is there like a bread?
I think you can do meat. I thought I learned that because if you can 3D print organs, I don't see why you can't 3D print food.
You can 3D print organs.
So 3D printers already have started printing basically blank, like literally, they're kind of bleached blank organs. Their cell structures don't really have like
I
a
think
person
I
they
might have
belong
heard of
to.
this. Uh-huh.
So you take the stem cells from the person that's going to get it, put it in there. It's going to kind of like
Oh,
become
okay.
that person's organ, and then you do the transplant, and it's worked. Actually,
That's wild.
they 3D printed a brain once.
A brain?
Just to see if they could do it.
Just to see if they can do it. Did they ever put it anywhere?
Oh no, but it was real.
I'm just getting a lot of Frankensteins. Yeah, a lot of plastic, or not plastic, 3D printed brains, but they're just like brain toys or whatever.
Brain-like tissue structures
I'm also
capable of
looking in the
nurturing
wrong
neural cells.
direction.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool.
What?
So this is from 2021, but it says last year, a team of researchers from Tsinghua University, I cannot say that, 3D printed brain-like tissue structures capable of nurturing neural cells. After several weeks of vitro nurturing, the initial neural cells had formed a complex neural circuit and could respond to external stimuli. That's nuts.
What?
That's nuts.
How? Wow. So, yeah, because also I'm also like dumbfounded over here because I'm seeing all the food now. I was in the wrong section. Yeah, it looks like you could make a whole burger. That steak looks like a real steak. Like, all right, maybe I just haven't been paying attention.
Now that we're on the topic of food and 3D printers, it's perfect for the story. When I worked at Legal Pete's, I was working the door during the pandemic, and this homeless guy, he'd walk by just about every week to mess with us, but he was always just trying to get, I think, water.
Hmm.
But he didn't know how to ask directly. He always went a roundabout way. And this one time he came up to me and was just like, I got a business proposal. I was like, really? Like, can I talk to your manager? And I'm going to say my manager at the time. I literally, like, I know this isn't happening.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what can I do? About what? And he's like, well, I want to sell y'all a 3D printer so you can start printing your tacos. I was like,
Okay.
that sounds really nice, but I don't think we're going to do that. And he's just like, no, like, you're going to miss out because I invented this 3D printer. It prints tacos and it'll print vegan food. So you guys can have vegan food.
Does
Don't
it
you
run
want to
off
serve the
crypto?
vegans? No. And I literally was just like, no, sir, we're not doing that. And so he gives up because he's not too argumentative. But as he walks away, he just turns around and he's like, you're just missing out on what I have to offer. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, last week you were talking to the walls. I know we're not getting a 3D printer from you. But it was a great conversation. I was for it.
Watch him be like a Tony Stark figure, and you just like lost out.
No, well, I've met people like that before,
Sure.
but I did know him well enough in the community to know that even if it's real, we weren't going to be able to get through the conversation sanely.
Yeah.
So it's not that I was ignoring him. He's just hilarious.
Good lord. That's fun.
But yeah, this is so cool. It's boundless.
Like, I like. Is it too much to ask for like flying cars and like instant food? You know, I really want that Jetsons future.
Right.
And like we're so close. This is big. I didn't expect that we made this type. Also, like this also could be a lot of Photoshop now that I'm like really looking at it, but I don't know. It's hard to tell nowadays.
A lot, if you look at websites that seem more supported by scientific basis or engineering basis, you're going to get a better result of what's really happening.
Yeah, I'm literally just looking through Google Images.
I put in the Google search 3D printed, and the suggestions go brain, house, homes, dragon, slug, food, cast, house cost, shoes, octopus. I don't know how to 3D current house cost, but that's an option.
House cost? Oh, how much will it cost to make a house out of 3D printing?
A lot of people were putting it in short. That must be why.
Yeah.
I wonder the 3D printed octopus, if it's like a toy or if it's a real octopus. So I'm looking it up. It's a fucking toy. Oh, it's cool though. It has like it has these little like connectors where the legs move,
Ooh.
but like they're wavy.
That feels like it'd be a fun fidget hand thing.
Totally.
I would
Okay.
love that.
It's like that would be really cool if we're just printing octopi now.
Just real life octopi.
Yeah.
I typed in house, but then it also came up with like sculptures, and I don't know about these sculptures. Like I was looking for house, but it provided me very provocative pictures.
Huh.
A sculpture of here, let's throw out this random one of Mary Gwen. I am assuming that's a Mary Jane and a Gwen Stacy hugging each other. There's a Chung Li doing the power move, but she's in a very you can see all the right spots. And then Shaggy and what seems to be two Scrappies ripping the skirt off Velma Dinkley while a ghost is trying to rip off her shirt. Shaggy is more freaked out about the skirt than the ghost, and I find that offensive.
Wait, can you show me this picture?
Yes.
I want to see what you're looking at. That is exactly what's happening.
I just wanted to describe it first.
It's the Samus and Zelda supposed to be like.
And it's not even Samus nor Zelda. What? No. Okay, it is. But they're doing that weird, like Samus is picking up Zelda. You know that porn. Yeah, I mean, you know that meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Weird people are fun.
But I asked for 3D printed house, and it gave me that. There's also houses underneath here, so that's cool.
Take your pick.
They look like
Where do you want to live
houses. I want to live in that sculpture. Yeah, they all look what you would imagine a 3D printed house would look like, just a stack on stack on stack.
Wait, it's just like
they look like batteries or like plug-in chargers. I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
It's not my thing. I feel like any storm might rip that shit up. Like hail.
It cuts the lines.
It does.
It's a big old house with lines.
You take limonene.
Like, I don't hate it, but it also feels very weird. Look at that one. An egg-shaped one.
There's a whole neighborhood of this. It's gonna be some wrinkle in time. Shit.
Probably. Like, it's funny how like we're trying to be in the future, but we're not in the future yet. But we're trying to find like a way to like. I realized that back in 2001 that we really just tried jumping to the future, especially in at least in pop culture sense. Like,
yeah,
like everybody was wearing like silver, and it was the millennium. Remember Millennium? Millennium?
No.
It was a Will Smith album.
Oh.
like that era, like everybody really wanted to shift to the future, but what are we doing? So we all just went with like platinum colors and like, did you ever watch the Disney show Xenon?
No.
Check that out.
Okay.
You might get a kick out of it because it's ridiculous. But it was like, I think it's what we all thought the future was going to be, which was a lot of like neon bright platinum type colors.
Oh.
A lot of what do you call it when you bleach your hair and you get little spikes?
Oh,
the boy band spikes.
Yeah, I don't know. That Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, that was meant to be a signal of like a future hairstyle. Okay. And I think everybody, like, I don't know, this
you're right.
This is sort of stuff I just sort of picked up on.
Think of Spy Kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
like we were all like so gung ho to, because it's the year 2000, so we're like, oh, so we're here now. Where's the flying cars? There's no flying cars yet. Oh, where's the jetpacks? Nowhere. Well, what can we change?
iPods.
iPod, nano colors,
Actually,
internet, E, the word E on everything.
So you said xenon, and when I looked it up, I was trying to look up the show, but actually, it supports your claim with the early 2000s. It's a chemical element that's extremely rare. It's in the noble gases, and it tends to be in like almost close to the neon group. So it does have this color.
Oh, yeah, because my Xenon is actually a preteen girl from the 21st century who is also rocking those colors.
Yep, that makes
100%.
sense.
Type in Xenon girl of the 21st century and you'll get hurt.
Xenon girl. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
And it is. Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly the color she's wearing. They
Um,
spelled it with a Z,
what were you spelling it with?
an X.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun bit of like trivia you could take home with you.
Yeah, because then like when it comes to the periodic table stuff, that's usually what I'm thinking. In scientific terms, the Z seems to be an X.
Huh. Yeah, this was, what was it? I think it was like the year 3000, 3001, something like that. And, but it like, she lived on a space station, but Earth was relatively left unchanged, I guess, because, they need, it was still the 90s and they were on a budget. So they can only do so much. Like the most they would do is like cover up like things that would seem modern and try to make it futuristic, but it was clearly a park, that kind of situation. And everybody in that spaceship always had like like quick and easy little foods or like water that like instantly shows up, or like they had little nano chips that they can listen to music to, like future stuff. It wasn't the cloud, but it was certainly like a different thing. Is that rain? What did you hear?
I thought it was a gunshot.
I heard a car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's hardly never anything here.
Denver. So I'm seeing here the year was 2049.
2049. Wow, 2049. So we're pretty close, actually.
We are.
2049.
Disney all wrong again. Preceded by Halloween Town. Oh, that was a good movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I really liked that one. Yeah, this was around the time where my dad went through a really weird phase where he decided we don't get TV anymore. So when this came out, it makes sense because we didn't have a TV in the house for like a couple years around that time. Really?
That's when we first started getting cable. Cable was around for a while, but it wasn't until like 2000. No, like 1999. Oof, I'm dating myself. When we actually got cable, because I remember that's the year that SpongeBob came out.
Okay.
And like it was really weird, but I liked it. But yeah, looking back on it, 1999.
Yeah.
I was there for SpongeBob. That's and now it's a shell. But that was big back then. It's just like getting to watch the Disney Channel. So we'd watch the Disney Channel and Cartoon Network and all those favorites.
I loved watching it at friends' houses for a minute.
Yeah.
We had when we finally got it back, we did PBS, and we weren't doing cable for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I had cable when I was in high school for the first time. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I cut cable off maybe like 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
I exclusively just use streaming services now.
That's around the time Netflix started becoming a pure streaming service.
Yeah.
So I remember that's what got me started on Next Gen.
Yeah.
Star Trek Next Gen. Yeah. And I was watching tons of documentaries.
And of course, there was always the occasional piracy, but like, I mean, allegedly. Nowadays, I don't do it as like it's a lot easier to just pay that $7.99,
It is.
right?
Like probably one of the services you already pay for has the thing you're thinking about pirating.
Yeah.
So you can find a friend that'll just let you log in for a second.
You can find somebody that will like give you a password. It's so much convenient than like, well, let me see if I can like download it real quick.
Some people like fucking banked their pirate videos. Like I couldn't figure out how to do that, but not that I ever would have. But I wasn't on Napster when it was started.
Napster missed me. I was on LimeWire.
I never ended up on LimeWire, but it was all around the same time. It was
FrostWire? That was the second one. That was the one that surpassed it.
No, I got on Napster and then I just stopped because I had Apple iTunes.
Yeah.
Which was still when you had to buy everything for 99 cents, but
that's the conversation that we could write that one down. The podcasts, how that became to be, because that was the other thing that kind of like switched it all for me as well. Is like how podcasts work.
Yeah, because everyone was like, we got radio. Like, what's this for?
Yeah.
Like, we already do the radio. And then as you start listening to podcasts, you realize, oh, it's a lot better than listening to the Chrysler dealership talk every time a song comes on.
Yeah. Or like have just like generic news or like traffic hours. Like, that's necessary. But now we're in the future and like you can look that stuff up and see that there's a traffic or anything. So there's no need for the radio. And honestly, you want to go to podcasts because you want to have a conversation that's more meaningful than like, oh, let's prank your boyfriend in the morning. Honk honk.
Yeah.
Wait. We're a morning show now.
Yeah. And we fart.
Haley and Morgan in the morning.
Now we just need to have all those props. Like,
oh, they didn't like that. Yeah,
boo,
boo. We're about an hour. Do you want to go?
You want to call on the hour one and maybe do a second?
We can do that. Or we can keep going and just let this be a long one.
Either way. It is breaking up my concentration thinking about what to do, though.
Yeah.
That's why I got really quiet.
We'll go ahead and cap this one off, just in case we run out of steam, and then we'll start another one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations?
Ooh, let me see. Do I
have any recommendations?
Yeah, I do. I haven't really been a fan of manga before because I've never tried it, but I've started reading a series of short stories by, and I believe his name is Junji Ito.
Is that the horror stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
But a particular story from there that I suggest, because it has a bunch of short stories, is Shiver. Shiver is really creepy. It's all about like, it's kind of a monkey paw like story.
Okay.
But Junji Ito's version of that.
Okay. Yeah. Does that one have that wall story?
The wall story? No, it doesn't. But there basically there is, without giving a lot away, an artifact, so kind of like your monkey's paw, that if you are in possession of it, you are going to have a very hard life, and a very mysterious man will follow you the whole time. So if you want to find out what happens, I leave that to y'all because I don't want to ruin it here, but I highly suggest reading the short story Shiver.
All right, cool.
Takes about 15 minutes.
I love mangas.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're always a gamble if you run into it, but if you find something like on your level, you're like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah.
I guess I'll recommend. God, I'm the one who came up with this segment, and I never have any recommendations. I guess in the anime realm, I would say check out an old classic favorite of mine called Fooly Cooly.
Fooly Gooly?
Fooly Cooly.
Fooly Cooley.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fuli Kui. FLCL is or FOOLCOOL. Cooley? Something like that. It's it's like a slice of life kind of anime
Okay.
set in like the year 2000, where there's like a kid that like has an average boring life, gets hit by like this uh, this girl and this like crazy woman in a Vespa bike,
Okay.
and slams him with a guitar. It's this like cool rock kind of vibe to everything.
All right.
But hitting him with the thing causes him to like have a robot come out of his brain, and like every episode a robot comes out of his brain because there's something wrong with him, and you have to, and like the mystery is like, what is that, why is that
Oh,
happening?
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it has like the best rock music that I've ever heard. It's a band called The Pillows.
The Pillows.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're a Japanese band, and they like the whole soundtrack of Fooly Cooly is just them,
Okay.
and it's fantastic. Like someone said, it's like a almost Death Cab for Cuties. I would say
Okay.
like a Modest Mouse maybe, but like it's. I know I listen to a lot of depressing stuff, but this is more like hype. Like yeah, this is like we're celebrating life kind of situation. Like it's all up.
I'm gonna have to write this down because I'm actually really I love Japanese rock. When I find
Yeah.
it, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
But when I do, so I definitely want to look up
The
what are they called?
Pillows.
The Pillows.
Yeah.
And then what was the book called?
The anime Fooly Cooly.
Okay.
Yeah. FLCL is the easy
I'm just gonna write it down the way I say it, so
Yeah.
that I know what I'm looking for later. Because I'll look at it and be like, I don't know what this is.
It's either that might be one you have to look for.
That's okay.
But it's either on a Hulu or on a Crunchyroll or like a Funimation. Even I think those are they're combining, so I think it's going to be Crunchyroll.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
I didn't, but
It was two different anime streaming services, and I guess Sony bought Funimation, and they own Crunchyroll,
okay.
and they just took the whole library of Funimation into Crunchyroll.
All right.
So there's far more stuff in it now.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've never actually used Crunchyroll. I just keep hearing about it. I know how it works. Do you have to pay?
Yeah, it's it's relatively cheap.
Okay.
Like if you want, like I never see ads, but like I guess the ad one is like $10, but I have standard $7.99, I guess.
Okay.
It might have changed. I don't know because they combined.
Yeah.
But it's pretty all right. I don't hate it. I don't really watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
I got it because I got into watching the new Digimon show that's in Japan.
Okay.
And
yeah, you were talking about that.
It released it theoretically it's releasing tonight. But what was it, like a week ago? The company that is owned by Crunchyroll or some anime companies got hacked, and it completely like disrupted their scheduling and like messed everything up to where there's no new animes coming out right now.
No
not just
shit.
Digimon, just like a whole bunch of animes that are just like, well, we'll see you when we see you because we got to figure this mess out.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wait, did they like lose like things they've worked on?
It doesn't sound like they lost things. It just backtracked their scheduling and like backtracked a lot of their what they had planned on doing.
Okay.
They were able to recover quite a bit, but it got hacked to the point where like it disrupted their workflow. So now they just have to like try again. It sounds like there's stuff being made.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to tell. So there's been like the whole anime community has been like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, who's to say? Who knows?
Work itself out, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that I guess I recommend two things: Fooly Cooly and The Pillows.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But all right, cool. I guess that's gonna be it. Anyone who's listening to this point, give us your recommendations. Let us know what's a good question to leave on. What would be your superhero like job title if you were to work in a community?
And what are your costume colors for that job?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this has been my sister from another Mr. Haley.
My brother from another mother, Morgan.
And this has been the Timey-Wimey Wallflowers.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
Boop.
Bye.